in order to be successful in the blockchain space, you have to be very adaptable, very flexible, eager to learn, have the right drive to push things through, and also show a lot of self-initiative. I think this is quite crucial now.
Hi, I'm very excited to have you here from Korea, right? You're in Korea right now.
Yes, here it's now 7 p.m., but I'm very happy to be invited here to your channel. Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. I'm very excited to talk to you about venture building, venture capital, starting a company in the blockchain space. So Max, let's start right away. Tell me first, you work at a venture builder and at the same time venture capital company. What's the difference between venture builder and venture capital?
Yeah, good question. So Blockchain Founders Group, where I am head of corporate development, we do two things, as you said. We do first venture capital investments, and then secondly, venture sort of building, right, which is in the form of our incubation program. And the simple difference is, a venture capital investment, does its investment, and then the job is sort of done, right? Not entirely, of course. We can always give some introductions. We can connect people. We can connect parties, and then sort of maybe also advise in certain fields. But the investment side is less operational. Whereas if you think about the venture builder, it is way more operational. So usually you have some entrepreneurs, some high potential entrepreneurs, and then you also have an idea, or the team bring in an idea, or you have an idea, and then you present it to them. And then together you build the startup from scratch, right? And that is a venture builder, and therefore also way more operational than the simple investment.
Yeah, and what are your exact tasks as part of this venture builder? What do you do in your daily job?
Yeah, so I am one of the venture builders in the incubation program of the Blockchain Founders Group, and my daily tasks range from various things, all departments. We sort of advise, we consult, and I think we have to take a step back to how I got to this position, and to really start, I need to explain my character, my personality, and I think to describe it best, I love processes. I love standards and standardization of processes to make them most efficient. And with that, it just made sense to join a field where process efficiency and standardization is very much needed. And I think in a venture capital or a venture builder, especially standard and ways on how to best help startups, these characteristics are very needed. So also to summarize what my daily jobs include, so when I say helping startup teams, it really means we help them from in every department, right? You can think of business development, marketing, setting up the IT infrastructure, also business model consultation. So all these things we help in a way to take away the unnecessary things from the founder team, and so that the founder team can really focus on the core, that is fixing, validating the business model with outside parties. Whereas we in the background sort of implement our templates to facilitate their growth and make their lives easier. It does not mean that they don't have to do it, but at least we help them from the operational point of view.
Because I'm part of this cohort of the Blockchain Founders Group, venture builders, and I find it really helpful because when you're a potential startup founder, you also need a sparring partner. And of course, this could be your team, but I feel that you also engage a lot in this role as a sparring partner. People can share ideas with you, share concerns with you, and you have a very broad market knowledge because you work with so many startups. And it's so helpful to say or to give advice on your expertise, on your view of the market. You maybe know other competitors that the startups don't know about. So I think this is also an essential role that you currently have. And I think
Yeah.
it's brilliant to have a sparing partner like this in a venture building program.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you're talking, you're pointing out a very crucial point, and you could really imagine the venture builder as the third sort of co-founder of your very early startup, and so, or maybe to describe it this way, I'm more of a generalist than a specialist. So I have a quite good overview of the blockchain field, various areas, right? Not into the deepest depth, but at least I can evaluate what the competitor landscape looks like and what big players are out there, and maybe also give a gut feeling of the market size and all that.
Yeah. And let's talk about starting a business in the blockchain space. How important is blockchain knowledge when I want to start a business?
Yeah, I think that is a question a lot of founders asks when they want to join the blockchain field, and I don't want to discourage anyone, but blockchain knowledge, or let's call it a bit more deeper blockchain knowledge, is definitely crucial. You need to know at least you don't need to know how to program a smart contract, but you need to know how it looks like. You need to know what functions it does, because otherwise you will not be able to fully penetrate and understand the blockchain industry. So I think blockchain knowledge, not on the surface, but a bit deeper, not too deep, but like you need to know the basics at least, right? And so this is quite crucial.
And when you select the participants for the Blockchain Founders Group Superstars for this venture building program, what do you look at? What criteria do you have to pick the right participants in the program?
Yeah, maybe to say a few words to the Blockchain Founders Superstars program. Essentially, BFG Superstars is our in-house incubation program, and with the program, we aim to found 5 to 7 or maybe even 10 blockchain startups per batch. Currently, we're running our very first official batch, and now we have over 16 teams, I suppose, working on 16 different blockchain ideas. And yeah, when we talk about selection criteria, so we try to look at the ability as well as on the personal fit level, right? So first, of course, we need to look at the blockchain knowledge. If blockchain knowledge is there, we need to look, how deep is the knowledge? Did this person, maybe just read one article and then try to summarize, maybe the concept of tokenization or something, and did not go any deeper? Then usually this is a bit critical, right? If you want to start a blockchain business, you must know at least blockchain technology from a deeper perspective. And if the knowledge is given, then we look at motivation, skills, maybe what you did in the past, and some work styles that you maybe followed in the past, some personal challenges that you encountered, and how you dealt with it. So we need to find a very robust sort of founder, right? Who does not give up easily, who has the right motivation and drive. So this is very important. And then we need to look at the broader space and check, okay, is this person committed? Does he have or does she have the time for the responsibilities of becoming a future founder? And if all this is given, then we have the final interview to check, and yeah, again, the personal fit.
I know that you can also apply with a team at the program. When you look at teams, do you also look at their ability to work together or how they fit together, or do you look at every individual on an individual perspective?
Yeah, good question. I think, of course, on an individual level, we need to assess their skills and abilities and motivation, but we also need to check if they're able to work in a team, because later you will necessarily have to have a team behind you, and if you're not a team player, then obviously that will become a bit hard. So we have some mechanisms in the program where we try to find out if this person can work in a team or not, and then that will also be evaluated and flows into the criteria.
Yeah, because a lot of venture capital companies say the team is the most important thing. You know, if the team works well together, then they can overcome a lot of challenges and they can also pivot. So even the idea is maybe not that important in the beginning. It's more of like how the team works together and yeah, what's the attitude of the founders.
Yeah, I mean, very correct, very correct. But I think, especially in the blockchain field, yeah, team is very important. I agree, but the idea is also very important. So maybe if you compare it to other industries where you can pivot easily or a bit more, flexibly in the blockchain space, the idea is also quite crucial to be successful.
So from your perspective and from your experience so far, what does it make a founder in the blockchain space successful? What skills, maybe knowledge or connections, what does make them successful?
It's like a it's a package of everything basically, right? You have to have the right drive, you have to have knowledge of blockchain, so all the points that I mentioned earlier. And however, I want to just point out a few that are particularly interesting for the blockchain field. And one is definitely the eagerness to learn. So the blockchain space develops so fast; it's incredible, right? The NFT, for example, the NFT technology has been there for as long as Ethereum was developed, but it was never this hyped until last year, right? So last year, when all the NFT projects launched and became quite successful, then and only then did blockchain or the blockchain community jump on this sort of hype. So if just your personality is not eager to learn and adapt to this speed, then I guess you will have a hard time. So I think in order to be successful in the blockchain space, you have to be very adaptable, very flexible, eager to learn, have the right drive to push things through, and also show a lot of self-initiative. I think this is quite crucial. Yeah.
From my perspective, I've told myself every time I read something new in the blockchain space, I will really try to understand it because there's so many things happening. And if you miss on something, I feel like you miss on so many opportunities. So absolutely, this eagerness to learn, flexibility is also from my perspective, from my point of view, extremely important. Yeah. Great. So I noticed that many people in the blockchain space are trying to start a company and inventing some blockchain solution. But actually, in the real world, there is a solution that works pretty fine without blockchain, but they're still trying to figure out, okay, I want to start a blockchain company because it's such a hype. Let me figure out a blockchain solution for something. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, the very simple answer is you need to, as a venture capital investment firm, you need to ask yourself, okay, is this solution needed? If yes, do we need blockchain technology? And if we don't need blockchain technology, then obviously it was just used to function as a buzzword, and therefore we should not proceed with this sort of opportunity. And therefore, I think the very first question is, if blockchain technology is really needed in this solution. If it is needed, right? In some cases, we have traditional models, business models that or solutions that are sufficient enough for a specific area. But it is also true that blockchain could make certain processes within this solution more efficient. And if that is the case, then you need to ask yourself, is the timing right? Right? Can we approach potential clients with our blockchain solution, and then will they, go for the switching cost? Is it reasonable? So I think there are really three things to look out for. One is timing, right? Is the educational level of the people, of the clients, ready enough, mature enough? Are people maybe still a bit scared? Are they hesitant to take on this new sort of solution? then you need to ask yourself, is the tech feasible, right? If I don't know, if it's about minting a token, that's quite simple, right? But if you're talking about operability between chains, then it sounds very, logical, right? It sounds like it will be probably the next big thing, but is it feasible, right? I have not heard of anyone who made a service where you can, transfer one asset from one blockchain to another without any problems, right? So if it's not existent yet and you want to pursue it, then you need to ask yourself, is it feasible? And then finally, is the regulation ready, right? Even though you can mint tokens and maybe say, okay, this token represents certain assets, will regulation allow this, right? Will regulation be ready enough to handle a situation where, I don't know, a token was misleading in an investment decision, and then can you prosecute it or not? Is regulation made for it? So I think in the end, yeah, maybe to answer the question again, if blockchain technology is not really needed, then yeah, it's usually a no-go.
And because you mentioned the word regulation, I think it's such a tricky thing. A lot of people are starting a business in an unregulated space in the blockchain field because they think, okay, it's unregulated, I can make a lot of money. But of course, you always have the danger of this space being regulated in the coming months or in the coming year, where your business model is relevant then. What do you think about that from a venture capital investor perspective? How do you view these investments?
Yeah, so there are certain areas ranging from especially securities, right? If someone has an idea ranging or tapping into the securities market, even though they're not directly in it, but maybe a token represents some asset, then you are tapping in it, even though it's not fully or certainly regulated. We will always ask, did you do your regulatory analysis? Did you check whether you're tapping into a gray zone? And if you're tapping into a gray zone, you can at least anticipate, what regulations might be affected in here. So we do look at regulation from in each case. So if it's not clearly answered, then it is always a big question mark. But I can also say that, if it's truly decentral, then there's no way for regulation to really do something about it, because in the end, a non-custodial MetaMask wallet can log in to certain services, and you can make transactions, and nobody ever will know, what happened really, or who made this transaction. And therefore, if it's, truly decentral, then there's no way that regulation could maybe catch up to this. They could maybe shut down the service, but then a day after, the same code is deployed, and then the next services are online. So I think, in fact, that regulation at some point needs to adjust blockchain technology, not the other way around. And so yeah, that this is like my personal opinion.
Yeah. So Max, if you would give advice now to someone that wants to start a business in the blockchain space, what advice would you give them?
So of course, come to Blockchain Founders Superstars program. I think, it really depends, what your preference is, right? So if you want to pursue it with a venture builder such as BFG Superstars, then you need to, value and weigh if it's worth it, because also we are looking for some return. And BFG Superstar certainly does provide a handful of benefits. We have the network, we have the expertise, we also have funds. But in the end, it's really up to you, right? I think the very first step is to check your knowledge, right? Check how deep you went into how deep you went into in one topic, and really talk to a lot of crypto people, because crypto people, and usually, they're really, really young people, right? So people of my age, I don't know, crypto people can also be 16
Not
years
my
old.
age.
And also, of course, your age, right? And yeah, so I think talking to these people will give a lot of insights, and give you like sort of a picture of what sort of like target audience you're dealing with. And from these insights, then you can evaluate, okay, am I ready to tap into this very fast-paced industry? And then you need to evaluate, what you need to be successful in this space, right? Now you have an idea, you have a knowledge, you have sort of the knowledge to pursue the idea. Now you need to check, who can help me pursue this idea best. Is it maybe a venture builder? Is it maybe the crypto degen from Discord or somewhere, or Twitter? And then there you could start, going for whatever plan you have.
Great. Thank you, Max, so much for your advice and for your insights into venture building and venture capital. And I'm very excited going forward with the program, with the BFG Superstars program. Let's see what amazing startups will be founded there. And thanks so much for your participation here.
Okay, thanks for the invitation, Maria.